Hi, Gary Stearman coming to you from the studios of Prophecy Watchers with a great announcement. I can't wait. Bob Ulrich is here with me, and Bob, let's just get it off the ground right now.
Amen. October 12th through 14th, 2018, the Prophecy Watchers are coming to Norman, Oklahoma for the second annual Blessed Hope Prophecy Forum. We're going to be at the Embassy Suites Hotel, a beautiful hotel in the heart of Norman at the perfect time of year. You don't want to come to Oklahoma in the summer, it's too hot. You don't want to come in the winter, black ice and hail. You don't want to come in the spring, tornadoes. But believe me, the second week of October, it's a beautiful time of year. Some people call it Indian summer. It's a great time of year to explore and see the beautiful state of Oklahoma.
And Bob, 2018 is a year that Prophecy Watchers have been watching very, very carefully. The 70th anniversary of Israel's birth as a state. And people are saying something has to happen. There's so much tension in the Middle East right now, and in Russia, and in Europe, and in China. And everybody is very excited. The people I talk to always say, isn't something about to break in the world of Bible prophecy? And my feeling is yes.
We live in exciting times. We're seeing the prophecies of the Bible, some written over 2,500 years ago, coming to pass right before our eyes. The nations are aligning perfectly. Had a guy ask me just last night, well, what's so special about the time we live in now?
Yeah.
Well, of course, Israel becoming a nation 70 years ago is special. And those events in those nations today that we see surrounding Israel, calling for their extermination, are all in the news these days. Russia, Iran, Syria, Turkey. Where does it end?
You know, Bible prophecy tells us that there's going to be an invasion of Israel. Nothing could be more clear. And Bob, I've discovered something about prophecy, Old Testament Bible prophecy, that describes the invasion in ways that we've never seen before. I've discovered something new, and I'm going to be bringing it at the conference. It's exciting. Can't tell you what it is, but take my word, it speaks to where we are today, right now.
You won't even tell me what it is?
Nope, because you can't keep a secret.
I'll be at the conference. I'll hear it at the conference face to face. You know, why is our conference unique? There are a lot of options people have today. There are a lot of prophecy conferences. Our conference is a one-of-a-kind event. We actually have 32 speakers speaking at our event. Sometimes they're speaking simultaneously in 3 or 4 different rooms. We may have Danny Ben-Gigi teaching Hebrew in one room. We may have a Q&A on the Old Earth, Young Earth in another room. We may have 2 speakers. It is quite the event to actually attend in person and have so many choices and so many options. 32 world-class speakers coming to Norman, Oklahoma.
And Jack Langford's going to be with us, Steve Dill, and the 3 of us are going to get together on Old Earth creationism. That's going to be exciting.
I don't know what to say. It's going to be explosive. Let's put it that way.
Oh, yeah.
You know, our old favorites are going to be with us. L.A. Marzulli. Now, I can let you in on a little secret that no one knows. L.A. is going to an undisclosed location, continuing to search for the roots of the Nephilim. He's going in September, and I know he's going to bring a report back to the event on what he discovers once he gets to our conference. It's going to be exciting. Bill Salas. Bill is continuing to report on events in the Middle East. Ezekiel 38, Isaiah 17, Jeremiah 49, all these prophecies that were written 25, 26, 2,700 years ago are all aligning perfectly in the times in which we live.
We're going to have Billy CRONE again. Everybody loves Billy. Dynamic preacher. He is an unstoppable researcher. He's looking into things the government is doing right now that play right into classical Bible prophecy. Can't wait to hear what he has to say.
Amen. AI, the apocalypse, drones and crones everywhere in October. You know, one of our favorite subjects to talk about is biblical archaeology.
Yeah.
We have a speaker coming to the conference this year. I'm not even going to tell you who he is because I'm not permitted to talk about it. But his message is entitled Project X-Ray. And let's just say Project X-Ray is going to be one of the most fascinating things you've ever heard. In fact, from what I understand, there's already people bidding on the television rights to this project. They're going to be with us in October. The Millers are going to be with us discussing their new film, Before the Wrath, Brent and his son, Brent Jr. a DVD, literally a feature-length film about the rapture of the church. So there are exciting things coming.
And when you bring up that subject, Bob, the rapture of the church, highly debated right now. I think even more hotly debated than it has been in the past couple of decades, and I didn't think that was possible. And we're going to speak right straight to the pre-trib rapture, in which we devoutly believe.
Amen. You know, one of the exciting parts about our conference is the names and the faces are continually changing. We have our old favorites and people who join us every year, but this year we have 11 new speakers at the event. I can't name them all here, but just off the top of my head, Gary Frazier is going to be with us. Don Perkins is going to be with us. Ryan Pitterson is going to be with us.
He's a young man who is bright. He's a great researcher. He's discovered things about the Nephilim that you need to hear. And I can't wait to hear what he has to say, because I think he's a very gifted speaker.
He sure is. Doug Hershey is going to be with us. In fact, I'm holding a copy of Doug's new book, Israel Rising. If you haven't seen this yet, this is an amazing before and after photo book. Doug went all the way back to the 1880s and gathered all these pictures in Israel. And then he went to those same exact locations in modern-day Israel and took pictures, and they sit side by side in this book to see how God has blessed the land. He's going to be speaking on the 36th chapter of Ezekiel and showing us how God has intervened in the Promised Land to bless the Jewish people after he called them back to the land. And who better to join us on Israel's 70th anniversary than Avi and Aaron Lipkin, our old friends from Jerusalem, who are going to be with us again this year. Avi just started a new political party for Christians and Jews, and his son Aaron has created some of the most impressive drone-driven DVDs of secret places in Israel that most people never get to see in their lifetime. Gary, how could I forget Jan Markell?
How indeed. Jan Markell, in fact, has just written the opening chapter in a book called The Deceivers. Thanks, Bob. And her opening chapter sets off a fireworks, a storm that describes what's happening in the world today among pastors, teachers, government agencies, educational institutions. There is mass deception coming, folks, and if you haven't seen it already and heard it detailed, well, I don't know what to say, except Jan Markell's going to be there talking about it, and she's got a lot to say.
She does. Actually, 5 of our conference speakers have chapters in the Deceiver's book. Now, if you look at the subjects we're going to be covering at the conference, there's plenty of gloom and doom in the world today. There's plenty of fake news in the world today. One of the main subjects we're going to be talking about at this conference is celebrating the 70th anniversary of Israel. We're going to be talking about the rapture of the church, the soon return of Christ. We're also going to be talking about heaven. You know, this is one of the greatest misunderstood subjects you could ever imagine. I saw an article in the Australian news the other day about evangelical Christianity and what we actually believe. And all I can tell you is that article was fake news, because there was very little in the article that actually talks about what we believe. I was shocked to discover that only 144,000 people make it to heaven. What happens to the rest of the people? Where do they go? So I kind of laugh about it, but Tom Hughes, who's a pastor of 412 Church in San Jacinto, California, and Dr. Larry Ollison, who's a pastor up in Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri, are both coming with detailed, documentable messages about our future in heaven. It's going to be a blessing to a lot of people.
And Jeff Kinley. Jeff Kinley is a gifted speaker, one of the best outright preachers I've ever heard. I've seen people with tears in their eyes when he talks, and he's going to be speaking on several subjects, and he'll be available, of course, for private conversations with you, as will all the speakers. By the way, I have to say, one of the great aspects of a Bible prophecy conference is that the people who come to visit get a chance to speak directly to the men who will be doing the presenting. You can walk up to their book tables and with your own personal private questions, you can chat with them. They'll be glad to chat with you. That's the ambience of a prophecy conference. You can't get it anywhere else.
You can't really explain it until you get there and you see the camaraderie between people who are starved, literally starving in their churches for their pastors to teach prophecy. They don't hear about the subject. They come to our conference. It's literally euphoric between the speakers And the guests there, so many new friends and relationships are formed. You know, one of my favorite people that we had here a few months ago is Dr. David Reagan.
Yeah.
And David's going to be with us for the very first time at the conference, hoping that it convince him to talk about the imminency of Christ's return. It's a really debated subject about whether we can know the day or the hour, or whether Christ's return literally could happen at any moment while you and I are sitting here today.
You know, we talk about news, and we watch the news all the time. We watch the internet. And one of the people we watch in the news is Bill Koenig. Bill Koenig has his ear to the ground like nobody else I've ever seen. And when you hear Bill speak, it's always information that is on the cutting edge of what's happening right now from a biblical perspective. And you can talk to Bill. By the way, just walk up to him when he's free and say, Bill, what do you think about what's going on in Washington, et cetera, et cetera.
Bill may tell you to ask his wife, Claudia. You know, Claudia is going to be with us at the conference. She's a human evangelistic dynamo.
Yeah.
If you want to know how to win people to the Lord, you want to sit down and have a conversation with Claudia Koenig, because rarely a day goes by when she doesn't lead someone to Christ. So just an amazing woman.
Absolutely.
You know, we've got Michael Lake, Carl Teicherib, Andy Woods, Ken Johnson, David Schnickner. I'm looking at all these names, 32 of them in all. And Tommy Ice, you know, Tommy is a great friend. Tommy underwent some serious surgery back a few months ago, and he is recovering nicely, and we expect him to be with us in October. And Tommy also is one of the great defenders of the pre-tribulation rapture, always brings something exciting.
Tommy and Andy Woods, by the way. I love to stand beside Andy because I always get a laugh, as we did. We came out on stage together last year. The whole audience broke into laughter. He's 6'8".
And you're not.
And I'm not.
Now let's talk a little bit about the details of the conference. So you can register for the event, and believe me, seats are going quickly. We have a lot of people literally every day are signing up for the conference. You can do that over at prophecywatchers.com. That's prophecywatchers.com. Or you can call our toll-free number from 9 to 5 Central Time here at the office. The girls will be happy to help you with your registration. We've got 3 special dinners and lunches at the event that you can sign up for. Prophecywatchers.com is the place. The cost is $95 for the entire 3-day event. And just so you know, we actually have a shuttle that brings people from the airport to the hotel in Norman during the event, and it's absolutely free to you. So you don't need to have a rent-a-car. When you come to Oklahoma, we will take you from the airport right to the Embassy Suites Hotel in Norman. Now, there's another little caveat that's also important. The registration is $95. The one negative to our conference, if you can call it a negative, is you are not omnipresent. And with so many speakers and so many messages, many happening at the same time, sometimes it gets frustrating that you can't be in 2 or 3 different rooms at the same time. That's just the reality of 32 speakers and over 60 presentations. So what we've done this year is we've created another registration level where you can register for the event, and in addition to that, a total of $150, you can get the entire set of conference DVDs. $150 is your registration and the cost of that entire DVD set, which in the past has been $150 all by itself. So when you do register for the event at prophecywatchers.com, just make sure you choose the right registration option. $95, just a single registration, $150 for the registration, plus the entire set of conference DVDs.
A mega conference on its way, celebrating Israel's 70 years and counting. Bob, I still feel that this is going to be a big year for Bible prophecy.
A conference unlike any other.
And we'll expect to see you there. Contact us as soon as you can, because I think a lot of people are going to be coming, and you want to get your name at the top of the list. For Bob Ulrich, I'm Gary Stearman. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon at the conference.